So I want to give a big thank you to Kimbrough for sending me out some new, wrong package, some new spur gears. There we go. In my last video, I attempted to get this Traxxas Bandit VXL over 80 miles an hour, but I fell short. The car reached just under 79 miles an hour. And while in theory, I had enough gearing to get this car well over 80 miles an hour, I think what happened was one of two things. I did change the rear tires on this car, and they may be ballooning less than the tires I had previously run. And if they're ballooning less, of course, they're a little smaller, effectively making the overall gearing shorter. The other thing that may have happened is this stock Valenian power system only has so much power, and I may actually be reaching the limits of how much power it can make. So my plan is, in this video, I'm going to go ahead and run a smaller pinion gear. And what that's going to let me do is see if I reach the limits of the power system, and if I have, a smaller pinion may actually let me pick up a little more speed. Now if that doesn't work, I have other plans. I kind of regret purchasing this hot racing spur gear. It was kind of pricey, and it doesn't really give me a whole lot of flexibility over and beyond the stock 76 tooth pinion gear. So it has its limitations. And when I got this, I didn't know there was another option out there. And this Exotech slipper clutch deletion kit will let me run Kimbrough gears. Kimbrough is well known for making high quality plastic gears that are actually very budget friendly. And by running this slipper clutch delete, I should be able to run Kimbrough gears and have a lot of different gearing options. So I want to give a big thank you to Kimbrough for sending me out some new, wrong package, some new spur gears. There we go. And what I got here is I have a 64 tooth, a 66 tooth, a 69 tooth, and a 72 tooth spur gear. So in this video, what I'm going to do, because I really want to test out this slipper clutch delete, and I need it in place to run these Kimbrough gears, is I'm going to go ahead and run the 72 tooth Kimbrough gear. So it'll be the same number of teeth as the hot racing gear. And I'll run it with the 35 tooth pinion. We'll see how it does. Now, if the car gets a little faster, yeah, I've reached the limit of the Valenian system. If it's a little slower, these tires are ballooning less, making the overall gearing shorter, and then I have several other options where I can make the gearing taller. And the beauty is, of course, when you go with a smaller spur gear, you can run a bigger pinion gear, making the gearing even taller. Now, one other thing I failed to mention is I really want to stay with 48 pitch gears, and the reason for that is my understanding is if you go to 32 pitch or Mod 1 or other gear ratios, you can't run the car with the cover, but with 48 pitch gears, you can. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started and do some speed runs. I'm out here at the speed run spot, and Bella's gonna chill in the trunk while we do these runs to stay safe today. Today I'm running shorter gearing because last time the car didn't pick up much speed. I thought it'd be significantly faster. I'm not sure if that's because I'm reaching the power limits of the Valenian system, or maybe it's because I changed the rear tires and they're not ballooning as much, making the effective gearing shorter. We'll find that out today. So we'll go ahead and run the same Ovonic battery. Last time out here, it went a little over 73 miles an hour. We'll run the SMC next. Last time out here, it went 78 miles an hour. Okay, I have the GPS zeroed out and it's reading. We'll set the voltage checker this time at 3.6 volts per cell. Last time it alarmed at 3.7 volts per cell on the first pass. So we'll see how much voltage sag we have, and if it's so bad it goes down to 3.6 volts per cell. All right, I can hear it alarming. On the second pass, it already dropped below 3.6 volts per cell. Okay, it went slower today, and the voltage is down at a little over 4 volts per cell, but it alarmed at 3.6, and the speed was 70.2. So these tires are not ballooning as much as the other ones, and I'm gonna have to go ahead and put the smaller spur gear in now to get some more speed out of this thing, and there might still be hope to get it over 80 miles an hour, but it turns out that the gearing I thought was taller maybe is not taller. Next up, I'm gonna run the SMC, which is one of my fastest batteries. Last time out here, it went 78 miles an hour, and on the shorter gearing, it went 76.2. Next up is the SMC. We're gonna set this to 3.8 volts per cell. Let's see how fast it went today. We did not hit the low voltage alarm, and the SMC hit 77.3, so about 7 miles an hour faster than the Ovonic battery. I'm out here again at the speed run spot. I'm gonna try to crack 80 miles an hour with a stock Traxxas Bandit, at least a stock Valinian power system in it. Yesterday out here, I actually ran a little bit shorter gearing because I thought I'd overgeared it, but what was really throwing me off was I changed the tires. I was running AKA handlebars for quite a while, then I went to AKA slicks. It turns out the AKA slicks, while they look similar in size, they're not ballooning as much, effectively making the gearing shorter. So yesterday I ran a 72-tooth spur gear with a 35-tooth pinion gear, and it was about 1 mile an hour slower than when I ran a 72-tooth spur gear along with a 38-tooth pinion gear. So yesterday I was able to figure out that the car was not overgeared. It was the change in the tire diameter that was causing the car to slow down a little bit. So today I have 4 of my best batteries out here, or what I think are going to be 4 of my best. I have the SMC, which is definitely one of my fastest batteries. This thing has been very strong. I have the Liperior Pro 5000. This thing is actually my fastest battery. It's usually almost a mile an hour faster than this one here, but they're both amongst my best performers. Both of these tend to be anywhere from like 5 to 7 miles an hour faster in the Traxxas Bandit than some of my cheap batteries that I've tested in the past. In the video description, I'll put a link to a video where I tested 9 different LiPo batteries, all about 5,000 to 5,500 milliamp hours that are 3S, and did detailed testing on them. In addition to speed runs, I did capacity testing, runtime, all kinds of stuff. So please check out that video that's linked in the video description. Now, today I have 2 brand new batteries. LipeiAir has a new line they just released. I think they're just also been released to the public now. There's the 6000 and the 6200. All 4 of these batteries, though, I think are going to be really strong performers. We'll go ahead and check it out and see what happens. First up today is the SMC. I'll set the low voltage alarm for 3.8 volts per cell. The GPS is going to be cleared out. And let's make sure it's reading. Very good. she's definitely faster. She's never wheelied like that with the batteries on the front. Man, I'm thinking this thing definitely got over 80 miles an hour. Really have to ease into the throttle today. Damn, that was fast. All right, let's see what we got. .9 miles an hour. So finally cracked 80 miles an hour with this SMC. And did not hit the low voltage alarm. Next up, I'm gonna run the fastest battery I've ever run, which is the Liperior Pro 5000. Oh, that's a 6000. That's a new one. There we go. Next up is the Liperior 5000. This is the fastest battery I've ever run. It's usually about 1 mile an hour quicker than this SMC, which is also one of my fastest batteries. It's typically 5 or 6 miles an hour faster than the lower performance batteries. All right, let me get this thing in here. Well, that's a first. All right, it flipped pretty bad. I'm gonna have to ease into the throttle a little more carefully than usual. It's there's a little bit of a crosswind today, and it's struggling a little more than usual to stay down. But there we go, a new speed record, 81.3 miles an hour. Very nice. Next up, I'm gonna run the LipeiAir 6000. Now, I did not run the low voltage alarm last time because that Liperior 5000 Pro battery does not fit in the car properly, and it was just too much. One more thing to worry about. We're gonna set it for 3.8 volts this time out, and we'll see if it alarms. Well, that wasn't good. It hit the low voltage alarm and it flipped. .4. Let's see how we did. I'm gonna have to bring this car out on a day where there's no wind or a slight tailwind, because this crosswind is making it really difficult. Wow, all right, this thing performed well. 80.7 miles an hour. I think that's pretty close to the SMC. More testing to come. The ESC is definitely warm, but not hot. If I do a couple speed runs and let it cool down, I think it'll be happy enough. All right, next up is the LipeiAir 6000. I'm running the LipeiAir 6000 upside down because it doesn't fit in the car quite right, just like the Liperior Pro 5000. And I'm not gonna run the low voltage checker because there's just not enough room. So let me get this thing buttoned down, and I got the GPS cleared out. Can it crack 80? We'll see. We had a wheelie. Got to go back and run it again. I do not want to flip it, especially with a battery that's not tied down in the car. All right, I definitely got full throttle there for a couple seconds, so we might just go with that. The fastest one yet, 82.5 miles an hour. All four of these batteries are really strong performers, and they just blow away my budget-friendly batteries like the Ovonic, the Tindling, the Hoovoo, and the Liperior Endurance series, which was pretty weak. But man, that's great. I have some taller gearing I can still put in here to make it go a little faster, but I think I'm gonna have to figure out something beyond my patented AA nose cone to keep the front of it down, like a little wing or something, because this is a little too stressful. I don't want to tear this car up. It's actually my son's car, technically. He never uses it, but it's his car. But 82.5. Maybe I'll run it one last time, but I don't think I'm going to top that. Let me get it back in there and we'll see what happens. All right, one last run. No, there's just too much of a crosswind and it's not worth risking it. I'll bring it around and see what we got, but not worth it. That's all right though, we got some records today. Over 82 miles an hour, and I still have some taller gearing. Now that I'm running this Kimbrough 48 pitch gearing along with the Exotech slipper clutch delete. So yeah, we only hit 68.9 miles an hour and it was starting to wheelie. So I'm gonna call it quits for today with this car, but I am gonna go ahead and run my Hayboxing 16890A with a Liperior Air battery in that and see if it goes the same speed as when I ran it yesterday. Well, that was a lot of fun, but it was also really nerve-wracking. But easily today, this was the fastest this Traxxas Bandit VXL has ever run. It's running on the stock Valinian power system, so it's a 3500 kV motor, and the stock ESC is in here as well. So you can see I did a little damage to the car. I need to figure out a solution, some kind of roll bar or something, so that it won't tear up the shock towers and the top of the shocks when it flips. I also need to do something different than the AA nose cone. Maybe running it less wind would help me, of course, as well, but this is not ideal. At any rate, today I was running the 66.2 spur gear by Kimbrough along with the Exotech slipper clutch delete and a 38 tooth pinion gear. So pretty tall gearing here. I do have even taller gearing I can run. I have a 64 tooth spur gear by Kimbrough, which will definitely add a couple more miles an hour to this. And then I can run a bigger pinion gear with that. Maybe I'll throw like a 45 tooth or something in there. And before I do that though, I think I do need to get a wing. These tires actually held up really well. They don't seem to be ballooning too badly. You know, I think they're definitely winners. Although as I say that, it looks like I'm starting to see a little bit of the cross hatching on them. So I'm wearing them out a little bit, but that's to be expected. So yeah, next time out here, we'll see if we can get this thing closer to 85 miles an hour. That was my final goal, was to reach 85 miles an hour, and it's not too far off. I think it's definitely achievable. Now these Liperior Air batteries, they both performed really well in this Traxxas Bandit. They were neck and neck with my strongest batteries I own, and these batteries, the SMC and this Liperior Pro 5000, they're both very, very good batteries. You're gonna struggle to find a battery that perform any better than these. I'll put links in the video description where you can buy this SMC battery and where you can buy these Liperior batteries as well. And I'll also put a link in the video description where I tested the 9 different LiPo batteries in the past. And you can see for yourself just how much stronger some of these batteries are than others. There's a night and day difference. And if you're using the wrong battery, you're leaving a lot of speed on the table. So that's all I have for now. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe. Take care.